Breakups can turn our emotional world upside down. Maybe you're feeling a painful sense of loss, confusion, and frustration. You might desperately want your ex back, or you might feel certain that there's no point in looking back. Yet there's a third path few people talk about: surprising your ex by actively embracing the breakup and making peace with the end of the relationship. This approach flips the script in a powerful way. Rather than dwelling in endless what if loops, you channel your energy into your own development. This unexpected shift can captivate your ex's attention more than any well-crafted text or teary apology ever could. Psychologically, acceptance frees you to heal. Many therapeutic frameworks, including acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, center on the idea that accepting your difficult emotions without resistance reduces their power over you. You stop pouring energy into denial or false hopes. Instead, you pivot toward purposeful action. Embracing acceptance won't magically erase your pain, but it will light a path for moving forward. Oddly, it also positions you to project a fresh confidence that can inspire your ex to see you in a whole new light. So take a deep breath, grant yourself the right to grieve, but also dare to invest in a future version of yourself who thrives beyond this heartbreak. Counterintuitive as it sounds, deciding to fully accept the breakup may be the single most surprising thing you could do, both for your ex and for your own spirit. Conventional wisdom often instructs you to play hard to get, make them jealous, or plead for a second chance. This pop psychology matrix can leave you feeling stuck in a web of manipulative tactics. Instead, genuine acceptance cuts through that noise. When you accept the breakup, you demonstrate emotional maturity and self-trust, qualities that naturally exude a magnetic energy. Sigmund Freud wrote about the repetition compulsion, the human tendency to fall back into familiar patterns, even if they are painful. Constantly attempting to rekindle the old romance can keep you in a loop of repeated heartbreak. Acceptance breaks that cycle. By acknowledging that the relationship has ended, you refuse to let old dynamics control you. You choose a fresh start. You aren't tricking your ex into coming back. You are simply choosing not to bind yourself to the sadness of yesteryear. This radical approach can take courage. It means letting go of your comfort zone, your illusions, or your heartfelt vision of what might have been. However, this proactive acceptance invites new possibilities, whether those possibilities involve a healthier future relationship with your ex or, more likely, a path to discover new experiences and personal growth. When you tell your ex that you respect their decision, you do more than utter polite words. You send a message that you respect yourself and that you hold yourself responsible for your own journey. This surprisingly changes the game. Instead of chasing after them or bombarding them with emotional outbursts, you step back and offer the gift of freedom. Freedom for them to make their own choices, and freedom for you to redefine your own happiness. On a neurological level, acceptance helps rewire your brain's response to stress. You engage your prefrontal cortex to regulate the more impulsive tendencies of your limbic system. You are less likely to send frantic late-night messages you'll regret in the morning. You also create space for your ex to be curious about your new sense of calm. Curiosity can blossom into renewed interest or respect. Whether that interest leads to reconciliation isn't guaranteed, but it's far more empowering than desperation. You shift from anxious or avoidant behaviors toward a secure stance that says, I am okay on my own, and I choose to give this situation the space it needs. Many people discover that their ex notices this transformation. Human nature draws us to situations that radiate confidence rather than clinginess. Your acceptance is an unexpected pivot that can open the door for deeper communication, only if it feels beneficial to both of you. Acceptance is not about apathy or emotional shutdown. It's about releasing unhealthy attachments to something that no longer exists in the same form. In that liberated headspace, you can focus on your personal evolution. If you want to surprise your ex, start by surprising yourself with new dimensions of who you are. This phase isn't about hollow distractions. It's about intentional growth. Delve into learning or creative adventures that stretch your mind and invite you to show up in life differently. Consider activities that may be completely new to you, or perhaps something you always wanted to try but never pursued. Maybe it's salsa dancing or a high-energy hip-hop dance class that helps you break a sweat and reconnect with your body. Perhaps it's an online culinary course that goes beyond basic recipes, turning your kitchen into a playground of flavors. Some individuals rediscover their love for painting, sketching, or digital art. By leaning into these experiences, you nourish parts of yourself that might have been dormant, overshadowed, or neglected. Personal growth isn't just a buzzword, it's an evolving lifestyle. You choose to invest your time, money, and energy in experiences that reflect how you want to show up in the world. The sense of accomplishment or joy you feel as you master a new skill becomes its own reward. It's a bold statement to yourself that your life marches onward, whether or not someone else is walking beside you. After a breakup, your self-trust might feel shaken. You could be second-guessing decisions or blaming yourself for the relationship's end. Rebuilding that trust in yourself is critical. By stepping into the unknown, you prove to your own psyche that you can handle challenges and come out stronger. Say you enroll in a dance workshop despite your fear of making mistakes. You might initially worry about messing up your steps or looking silly in front of strangers. Yet each time you learn a new move or survive an awkward moment, you fortify an internal sense of, I can do this. That realization builds self-trust. You begin to see that your identity isn't locked to your ex or to a single relationship dynamic. Instead, it's fluid and full of promise. New experiences also create new neural pathways. Every time you challenge yourself, your brain adapts to make room for this learning. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with reward, floods your system when you successfully navigate something novel. Your self-esteem and resilience get a tangible boost. This momentum can spill over into other areas of your life, including work, friendships, and any future romantic connections. Artistic pursuits offer unique opportunities for self-discovery. Creativity isn't just about producing a masterpiece, it's about externalizing your emotions and shaping them into something tangible. This can be deeply liberating, especially when you feel you've lost your sense of self in the aftermath of a breakup. Painting, sketching, or even doodling can help you channel confusion and sadness into color and form. If you struggle to find the right words to describe your heartache, let a paintbrush or pen do the talking. Some people find solace in writing poems or short stories that reflect their inner narrative. Others explore sculpting, photography, or digital design. Creativity becomes a bridge to understanding the complexity of your own feelings. One major principle in positive psychology is the concept of flow, described by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi as a state of complete immersion in an activity. This state can lower stress levels and elevate your sense of satisfaction. Embracing a creative hobby helps you experience flow and reorient your focus away from your ex, which ironically can make you more intriguing to them if they catch wind of your new pursuits. However, the real prize is your internal transformation, not your ex's reaction. Eventually, you might consider reaching out to your ex. You don't need a grand speech. Simple honesty about the changes in your life can speak volumes, especially if these changes are genuinely making you happier. Instead of announcing, I've changed, I'm not the same person, you show it in your demeanor. Your ex picks up on your tone, your body language, your sense of ease. You articulate how you've been investing in activities that make you feel alive. If the topic of the breakup arises, you can express regret that it didn't work out, but also gratitude for the lessons learned. That balance of humility and self-assurance is compelling. Desperation is the enemy of genuine connection. Any whiff of an ulterior motive can undo the positive impact of your growth. If your ex senses you're just acting, change to win them back, they'll likely distance themselves further. True acceptance doesn't need a label or a performance. It stands on its own. By focusing on who you are becoming, you communicate a quiet message of independence and self-respect. Acceptance also means giving up the illusion of control over another person's choices. If your ex decides to reconnect, it will happen on their timeline and for their reasons. You can't force that. Many individuals stress about how to get their ex to come back, ignoring that genuine reconciliation must come from free will and mutual willingness to grow. Psychologist Carl Rogers wrote about the power of unconditional positive regard. When you extend understanding and acceptance to someone without strings attached, you create a space for genuine transformation. Paradoxically, letting your ex step away might be the only viable route for them to step back in later, in a healthier manner. You show them you respect their autonomy and the relationship's past, no matter how painful that past might be. While you wait, if you choose to wait at all, Focus on yourself. Don't pause your journey. Don't stall your personal growth. You deserve to keep evolving, regardless of the eventual outcome with your ex. The biggest victory is learning to thrive independently, not in proving anything to anyone else. Acceptance doesn't eliminate heartbreak. It simply gives you a new perspective on it. By accepting that the relationship has ended, you grant yourself permission to grieve and then embark on an active process of rebuilding. You learn to trust your emotions rather than suppress them. You channel energy into fresh pursuits that enliven your sense of identity. You communicate changes in your demeanor without resorting to desperate measures. You respect your ex's agency to decide for themselves. Along the way, you discover that your power resides not in clinging to someone else's approval, but in cultivating a resilient, expansive life. This surprising strategy can lead to many outcomes, from personal breakthroughs to a more genuine kind of reconnection with your ex if circumstances align. More importantly, you grow into a version of yourself who no longer begs for what could have been, but instead stands ready for what can be. As Brené Brown once said, vulnerability is not weakness, it's our greatest measure of courage. Opening your heart to acceptance is vulnerable, but it also amplifies your inner strength. Viktor E. Frankl, in his seminal work Man's Search for Meaning, captured it perfectly. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Embrace that challenge. Lean into acceptance. Realize that your breakup is not the end of your story, but rather the beginning of a transformative chapter that holds potential you have yet to imagine.